Welcome, fellow seeker of knowledge and health. Today, I invite you on a journey through the hidden battleground within your own body, a place where warriors fight not against invading armies, but against their own kin. I'm here to reveal the mysteries and unlock the hope hidden within autoimmune disease. Let's walk this path together, for what you discover today could transform not just your understanding, but your very life. Imagine your immune system as a vigilant guardian, always patrolling, ever watchful for intruders. But sometime, this sentry becomes confused. Instead of defending you from harm, it turns its weapons inward, mistaking your organs and tissues for the enemy. This, my friend, is the story of autoimmunity, a silent epidemic rising like a shadow across industrialized nations. You may not realize it, but nearly 50 million people in the United States alone are navigating this battlefield every day. Globally, the numbers rise like the tide, a wave cresting higher with each passing year. Women, in particular, seem to be called to this fight more often than men, for reasons woven deep in the tapestry of hormones, the microbiome, and the environments we inhabit. Science is still unraveling why, but the truth remains. Autoimmunity does not discriminate, but it certainly has its favorites. Each autoimmune journey is unique, painted in the colors of individual genetics and personal history. For some, the battle is isolated, a single organ under siege. For others, it's a storm sweeping across the whole body. Picture the thyroid sabotaged in Hashimoto's or Graves' disease, nerves under assault in multiple sclerosis, or the relentless attack on joints in rheumatoid arthritis. The liver, too, can become a target, inflaming into autoimmune hepatitis. The intestines, beset by inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. The pancreas, devastated in type 1 diabetes. Even the eyes, bladder, skin, and kidneys can fall under siege, as with uveitis, interstitial cystitis, psoriasis, vitiligo, and lupus nephritis. Consider lupus, a cunning adversary. It paints a butterfly rash across the cheeks, stiffens the joints, squeezes the heart with pericarditis, suffocates the lungs, clouds the mind, and wounds the kidneys. Systemic autoimmune diseases like lupus, scleroderma, vasculitis, and others are not content with a single conquest. They march through the body, leaving chaos in their wake. Why does this happen? What causes the defenders to become attackers? The answer is as intricate as a spider's web, spun from threads of genetics and environment. You inherit certain tendencies, genes that whisper susceptibility, but genes alone do not write your destiny. Picture celiac disease. When gluten, a protein found in wheat, enters the body of someone genetically predisposed, an immune response is triggered that flattens the microvilli, those tiny, finger-like guardians of nutrient absorption in the intestines. The result: pain, malnutrition, stunted growth, and deficiency. But even the most powerful genetic signals need an environmental partner. Just look at identical twins. They share the same blueprint, yet often only one develops an autoimmune disease. The difference: the world they inhabit, what they eat, the infections they encounter, the stress they shoulder, and the chemicals they absorb. This is the magic and menace of epigenetics. Your environment can switch genes on or off, like light flickering through a stained glass window. Of all the influences, food is the most intimate. The standard American diet, laden with sugar, refined oils, and processed food, is a recipe for inflammation. It shreds the delicate lining of the gut, disrupts the microbiome, and fuels the fire of autoimmunity. Antibiotics, painkillers, and relentless stress further tip the scales, weakening the barrier that stands between your inner world and the outside. Picture the gut, a single layer of cells bound by tight junctions, a fortress built to keep invaders out. But when this wall is breached, by inflammation, by an overgrowth of harmful bacteria, leaky gut emerges. Now, food particles, bacteria, and viruses slip into the bloodstream, confusing your immune guardians and sometimes igniting an autoimmune reaction. It's as if the city gates have fallen and friendly fire breaks out within. Infections can be another spark. Some bacteria and viruses possess proteins that mimic our own, tricking the immune system into making antibodies that attack both enemy and host. This molecular mimicry plays out in rheumatic fever, where a simple strep throat sets off a cascade that damages heart valves and joints, or in pandas, where children develop tics and obsessive-compulsive behaviors after a strep infection. Guillain-Barré syndrome is yet another cruel lesson, where an immune response to a virus ends up paralyzing the body itself. The environment is littered with potential hazards. Heavy metals like mercury, lurking in fish and old. Paint, lead, tobacco smoke, certain medications, even silicone breast implants, all have the power to tip your immune system off balance. The stories are real. Women with implants who develop vague, persistent symptoms, fatigue, pain, rashes, often find relief when the implants are removed. The body, given a chance, can begin to heal. Let's meet Linda and Sally, two sisters born of the same blood, but shaped by different worlds. Linda's entrance into life was natural, breastfed, nourished by whole foods, her days filled with calm in a library. By 40, her health was robust. Sally, however, entered by C-section, bottle-fed, plagued by ear infections and courses of antibiotics. Fast food became her staple, her career as a police officer loaded with stress and chemical exposures. She found herself wrestling with Crohn's disease by the same age. The difference: their environments and, most crucially, the inner ecosystem of their gut. To understand how autoimmunity takes root, let's peer into the immune system itself, a marvel of precision and power. The innate immune branch responds swiftly, indiscriminately, like sentries at the gate. The adaptive arm, meanwhile, is a master of specifics, marshaling B cells and T cells that remember, and target threats with exquisite accuracy. B cells, trained in the bone marrow, craft antibodies, those heat-seeking missiles of the immune arsenal. Normally, there are checkpoints to destroy any B cell that misidentifies friendly tissues as foes. This is called tolerance, the immune system's ability to recognize and respect the self. When tolerance is lost, B and T cells go rogue, producing autoantibodies that sow pain and destruction, be it in a knee joint, the thyroid, or elsewhere. Autoimmune disease is, in essence, a crisis of mistaken identity, a failure of self-recognition. But this breakdown doesn't happen overnight. It takes many strikes, a genetic predisposition, early infections, overeager antibiotics, years of processed food, toxins in the environment, and chronic stress all pile on. The gut, once inflamed and out of balance, becomes both a source and a victim of this immune confusion. Stress, that invisible poison, raises cortisol and further weakens immune defenses. Autoantibodies, those misguided proteins, become the smoking gun. Their presence in the blood signals a breach in the body's harmonious order. For example, anti-nuclear antibodies are found in a growing number of people, while a positive ANA doesn't guarantee disease. It warns of a heightened risk. If you carry this torch, it's time to be proactive. Nurture your health, adapt your habits, and intervene before symptoms take hold. Specific autoantibodies can pinpoint the enemy. TPO antibodies signal Hashimoto's disease. TSI heralds Graves. Rheumatoid factor marks rheumatoid arthritis, and anti-double-stranded DNA warns of lupus. Sometimes these markers appear long before symptoms. This delay is a gift, a window to change course, to avert or reverse the tide through diet, lifestyle, and targeted supplements. Raynaud's syndrome is a common herald, a chilling of the fingers, turning them white or blue as vessels constrict. Sometimes it stands alone, but often it accompanies systemic autoimmune diseases, pointing to the deeper battles raging within. Vitamin D emerges as a key guardian. Think of it as the sun's gift to your immune system, modulating its intensity. Deficiency increases vulnerability to autoimmunity, as seen in the higher rates of multiple sclerosis in countries far from the equator, shrouded in winter's gloom. Then there is the hygiene hypothesis. In our quest for cleanliness, we have sanitized away not just infections, but also the diversity needed to train and balance our immune system. Children raised on farms, exposed to soil and animals, develop stronger, more tolerant immune systems than those kept in sterile environments. Paradoxically, the presence of parasites and infectious agents may protect against autoimmunity by challenging and refining the immune response. Traditional medical treatments aim to suppress the immune system, turning down the flames but risking side effects as severe as cancer and life-threatening infections. Steroids douse the fires of inflammation. NSAIDs blunt the pain. Immunosuppressive drugs and biologics target specific pathways, but always at a cost. Is there another way, a path that heals the root, not just the branches? Yes. You can tip the balance back in your favor through the choices you make every day. The first step is to remove the fuel from the fire. Cut out inflammatory foods, refined sugars, gluten, dairy, seed oils, processed snacks, and alcohol. For some, even nightshades, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, chili can be culprits, especially when joint pain is present. Legumes and whole grains, with their tough lectin coatings, may need to be avoided for a season while healing unfolds. Eggs and nuts, those nutritional powerhouses, can also be sources of trouble. For some, a simple IgE blood test can reveal whether your body harbors an allergy. If not, and if they agree with you, enjoy them, otherwise abstain. Peanuts deserve special caution, being legumes prone to mold and lectins. The good news: white basmati rice is gentle on the gut, free of lectins, and safe for most. But the real foundation of healing is a bounty of vegetables, dark leafy greens, a rainbow of colors, rich in antioxidants and polyphenols. Add wild fish like salmon and sardines for their omega-3 oils, natural anti-inflammatories that restore balance to the immune system. Embrace avocados and extra virgin olive oil, and ensure your meats are grass-fed and organic. Hydration is key. A simple rule: drink half your body weight in ounces of pure water each day. This flushes toxins and supports every cell in your body. Supplements can be powerful allies. Omega-3 fish oil, up to 3 grams a day, calms inflammation. Vitamin D, ideally 5,000 IU daily with K2, aims for blood levels between 60 and 80 for optimal immune function. Turmeric, with its active compound curcumin, acts as nature's ibuprofen. Methylated B vitamins aid detox and curb sugar cravings. Magnesium soothes muscles, eases pain, promotes deep sleep, and supports liver detoxification. Healing the gut is foundational. L-glutamine powder feeds the cells lining your intestines, helping patch the fortress wall. Dairy-free immunoglobulins, like Ig Guard, speed recovery from inflammation. Probiotics replenish friendly bacteria, restoring balance after antibiotics and stress. Digestive enzymes ensure food is broken down completely, reducing strain on the gut and minimizing inflammation. And remember, even if autoimmunity has already set foot inside your gates, you are not powerless. You hold the keys to your own transformation. Intermittent fasting, giving your body a daily break from food, allows for cellular cleanup, a process called autophagy. If you want to learn more, I invite you to explore further. Exercise, too, is a potent medicine. Movement, whether walking, stretching, or yoga, boosts circulation, supports detox, and lifts the mind. Stress management is essential. Chronic stress is gasoline on the flames of autoimmunity. Seek nature, breathe deeply, meditate, and make time for joy. Quality sleep is your body's chance to repair and reset. Prioritize it. Let me share a story, a beacon of hope. Sharon came to me exhausted, in pain, her mind clouded and her hair thinning. Blood tests confirmed rheumatoid arthritis. Her immune system was in open revolt. She was offered biologic drugs, but feared their side effects. Together, we chose a different path. We healed her gut, overhauled her diet, and armed her with targeted supplements. 3 months later, Sharon's pain had vanished, her inflammation markers plummeted, and with time, even her autoantibodies disappeared. She reclaimed her health, her energy, her life. The lessons are clear. Your genes may load the gun, but it's your environment, your choices, that pull the trigger. Diet and exposures determine your risk and progression. An anti-inflammatory diet and intermittent fasting can quell inflammation and change your future. Heal your gut, for it is your largest immune organ. Supplement wisely, move your body, calm your mind, and prioritize sleep. These are not just words, they are the blueprint for resilience. You are not alone in this journey. Embrace the knowledge, seize your power, and know that healing is possible. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to join our community. Subscribe, share your thoughts, and let's continue this conversation. The greatest victory is not the absence of struggle, but the triumph of hope, knowledge, and action. Until next time, stand tall, live boldly, and take charge of your health.